Malcolm!
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 Yes, I hear you. I'm coming.
What?
I have been waiting for this moment for 18 years. Let's find out where Malcolm and his family are now. I have been waiting.
It's been 25 years since we premiered Malcolm in the Middle. I'm so excited that I may have peed. Just a little bit. Excuse me. It's been 25 years since we premiered Malcolm.
What a delight that I get to yell at that kid again. We're very, very excited about coming back together and seeing what this family has been up to. What a delight that I get to yell at that kid again. We're very, very excited about coming back together and...
Please address this Jan 6th Fedsurrection story that came out. Someone I fight with a lot is trying to use it as an own. Well, first, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath and remember, all of it is theater. None of this matters. None of these people are real, including your friend. It's not a real person, okay? Every single story that comes out, every single thing that comes out is always going to reinforce the conspiracy, no matter what, okay? No matter what comes out, it will always reinforce the conspiracy. So the original claim was that there was a Fedsurrection where agents were on the ground instigating the rioters themselves, okay? Now, there was never any proof for this ever. But there was finally an OIG report, an Office of Inspector General, which is a watchdog for the Department of Defense. In this case, I think it was a DOD OIG, I think, or it might have been another department. But they did a big run through of everything going on, and they said that there were no agents on the ground. Now, you'd think that might be the end of it, but it's not, because apparently 26 of the people had been informants in the past. And now that's what they're latching onto to say, well, since they were an informant just means that at some point in time, you might have passed information off to like the FBI or whatever. That's all that means, though. But they think that the 26 informants must have been in on it or were working. Now, there's no evidence for this. There will never be evidence for this because this conspiracy theory is literally self-defeating. It cannot be real. Because if you're going to say that a random person on the ground could instigate these people to riot, whatever they did was obviously several orders of magnitude less impactful than what Trump said, so it's not possible. This is a self-defeating conspiracy. It's the dumbest conspiracy. There will never be evidence for it. It's an impossibility. Am I an informant? I mean, if I was, I don't know if I would even be able to say it. But no, I'm not.
Destiny, you said happy holidays. I would never even utter that disgusting fucking word. I would never, ever, in any circumstance, would I ever fucking say that. So that is not true.
I'm trying to remember if flat screen monitors existed in the year 2000. Did they? When were first commercially available flat screen monitors? I hate looking shit like this up. Okay, first in the 19... Because they'll always tell you that, like, yeah, like this retard in chat just said 1980s. They'll always say that, like, well, technically in the year 1982 for $480,000 or at a nuclear power plant you could get... Those look like Apple Pro monitors or something. Yeah, maybe. I don't remember if you could get. I wonder if these are even real. Are these actually monitors? Because these would be pretty big too, and the resolution max is going to be 1920 by 1080, right? Oh, hold on. The Apple Cinema display came out in 1999. Oh, that might be what these are. What was the resolution? Not even 1080p. Jesus. Bro, 1024 looked better than real life back then. There was an interesting, I don't know much about like pixel lighting technology. But like people would say that a video game would look better on an old, I don't even know if you would say CRT or something else versus like an LCD. But I think there was actually some truth to it. It had to do with how the pixels themselves were like lit on monitors. Like I think the elements would like blend into or fade into each other a little bit. Whereas on the LCD screens, they were individually lit so much more precisely that it made it look shittier. There's gotta be, I'm sure there's a fucking video on this.
You sit in a room only basking in the warm, glowing light of a cathode ray tube. Tiny sounds are emanating from the speakers. You're there playing your game, and your brain is filling in the rest of the details, and you think, this looks amazing. How could anything look better than this? And then you come back.
Oh, this. Which Zelda was this? Was it A Link to the Past? Oh, yeah. Was this on the Super Nintendo? Or was this on the Nintendo?
Back 20, 30, 40 years later and decide to replay some of those games because nostalgia is a very powerful and good thing. And so you load up the games and you've got them on your new LCD television. You're playing them and you're like, this does not look the same. You joke around with your friends. You're like, can you believe we thought these graphics were amazing? I mean, it's cool. The pixels are cool. Pixel art is still a very awesome modern form of artwork, but it's so blocky. Can you believe we thought this looked amazing back then? Yeah, graphics have come a long way. Ray tracing and all these polygons flying everywhere. Things look so realistic. The lighting is amazing. The shadows are amazing. But pixel art still exists, and it's not just because of nostalgia. A lot of it's nostalgia, but the art form still exists. Thanks to Hookie.
Okay, I don't want to get too deep into this, okay? 'Cause it's not worth it. It's not worth getting too deep into this, but I'm going to give a strong statement, okay? From an artistic perspective, 3D is inferior to 2 dimensions, okay? When you're taking like a photograph, all right, when you're doing photography, there are like concepts of like, where are your eyes going to in the photo, right? When you take a photo, there are certain, like in a very basic, like in a very basic bitch, like, oh, I just learned about photography, which is where I'm at, by the way. You've got like your little rule of thirds. You're like, okay, your eyes are naturally drawn to kind of like these points on a photograph, right? And then for people that know more about photography, like you could do more complicated things with like lighting and like negative space and eyes looking at you and geometry. Like there are just places that your eyes are drawn to when you're looking at a photograph. When it comes to 2 dimensions and level design, it feels like there is a very natural and organic way that you would expect a player to see eyes following a character moving through space, right? And you can like plan for that and you can draw for that. And there's just like there's like an actual, you just have so much more control over what the player is expected to see and where his eyes are drawn. In 3 dimensions, this is completely goes out the window. And instead of there being any like concept of this is what the player will look at or should look at or looks good or whatever, it's just like, everything becomes like so much more discrete and disconnected. I don't know how to explain it. That's an issue with lighting. No, I don't think it has, it's not an issue with lighting. I think that this exact same concept carries over to gameplay actually as well. I think it's an identical problem with gameplay, depending on the type of game, I would say. I think it's shown really well in, when I'm thinking of more 3D or open world, controlled 3D environments, I think, where they're very small. Actually, maybe my criticism is more open world. When the environments are just massive and the player can like traverse these environments in any possible way you want, it just feels impossible to present like a cohesive gameplay or art thing in a way that you can look at it and like, oh, this is like so much more intentional than just random shit. I don't know. I remember when I first started to play, you saw it a lot in Metal Gear Solid 5. where, and then even in the Far Cry games, where if you can do like a stealth mission or a sneaking mission or whatever bullshit, but it's like it's a completely open 3D environment, all of these become like trivially easy because you can approach from an infinite number of directions, you can tackle problems with an infinite number of ways, and everything just be like easy. It's just so easy, and you can tell that like not much thought can go into the design of anything because there's just so much space to navigate. I don't know. Nah. The developer commentary in Half-Life 2 talks a lot about trying to control what the player is looking at. For older games like that, I think it's possible if you have like a linear 3D game, but when it's just like the massive open world shit, I don't know. I just feel like from an artistic perspective, those are always like so much less satisfying. Like I think the Dark Souls stuff kind of works a little bit because of that too. I think it works. Like there are moments in Dark Souls games where you're traveling from one area to the next and you can see like an area that you're traveling to or an area that you came from in the background, and that's nice. It's cute, yeah. But I think like the really big that's more of a problem with mission and level design. Yeah, but the thing is, I don't think you can do level design in like open world games. I think my complaint actually has more to do with open world than 3D versus 2D. I think I fucking hate open world games. I fucking hate open world. God, I hate open world games. Oh my God. Because when I'm thinking of the Dark Souls stuff now, I think Dark Souls did a decent job at like presentation of this stuff. But I feel like for open world, there's just too many ways that you can approach a thing. It's impossible to make like a cohesive artistic like direction that communicates something more than just like, look at how nice this tree is and look at I don't know, just, you know, but hey, maybe I'm an asshole. Is it fair to say that you have a preference towards linear or orderly media? I feel like you don't enjoy things that are not that, like non-linear movies or open world games. Can you have a non-linear movie? I think when it comes to like games and story, I'm always more attracted to, I think like character-driven stories mean way more to me, which is why I've just never vibed ever with open world games. Like, having a blank slate main character is so hard because you're so heavily restricted with what you can do with the story because there's no character development or anything for the main character. So it's always like observational, which I hate. Ugh. Are you okay with the main character talking? Yeah, sure. What about Kenshi? Kenshi's not a story-driven game. Same thing with like Factorio and somebody asked like, why do you like Minecraft?
For sponsoring this video, you can get 25% off Windows and Office with coupon code TS25. So they've got Windows 10 Pro, they've got Home, you've got Windows 11, Office 2021, 2019, and this is the one I use, 2016, because it still works very well. Putting in coupon code TS25, click apply, and then watch these prices come down. Wonderful. Once you're finished, all you have to do is click on your user account up here, go to your user center, click on my purchase orders, and then you'll see everything you've purchased right there. Just view keys and codes, and you can just copy and paste your key, hit start, type activate, click on activation settings, paste it in there, click on next, and you will be activated. You know, I never liked how Microsoft has different prices for different people. If you're a home user, you're going to pay 10 times more than an OEM builder or a corporation or something like that. And that's why I like heading to places like WhoKeys.com to get the OEM keys, so I can pay a price that makes sense. So thanks to them for sponsoring, and now to our regularly scheduled program. So really, your younger self is correct. Things actually did look amazing, but they were not made to be played back on an LCD television. They were made to be played back on a CRT, and the technology is totally different. When an artist was designing a pixel art character or a scene with pixels, they would place the pixels on the screen, and then a CRT would not display the pixels back. It would display dots on the screen. That's the difference. Pixels became dots. Now let's talk just a second about the difference in technology from a CRT and an LCD, starting with the LCD. An LCD is comprised of tiny little light bulbs, little LEDs, and however many pixels you have, that's your resolution. So if you have 4K, well, you've got a lot of pixels on your screen. 1080p, that's how many pixels you have on your screen. Tons of little LEDs that turn on and off. This is way slower than a CRT, because even if you can turn that pixel on really fast and then turn it off really fast, there's a little bit of a fade. That's what they call the gray to gray. So even if you can show many frames a second, if you can do 100.
That shop doesn't look like a Microsoft certified store, Les Ruse. Wait, what? On this? I don't even know what that Chad was referencing.
44 frames a second. That's your refresh rate on your LCD. Well, yes, it can show that many frames on the screen, but there's going to be a little bit of color bleed. There's going to be a little bit of what people incorrectly call ghosting, but we'll just go with it. A lack of perception of motion. And also, most of the LCDs have something called stay and hold technology, where they're like,
oh, it's sponsored at the start of the video. Gotcha.
These pixels are about the same color from frame to frame. We're not even going to refresh them. So sometimes in a scene, part of the scene will refresh, but the part of the scene that's not really moving is not going to refresh. So you'll see the same thing, the same LEDs will stay lit on your LCD display for longer periods of time. Now let's talk about how a CRT works. CRTs have an electron gun inside. Some have 3 RGB, some just have 1, like the Trinitron technology just has 1 really fancy electron gun that does all the colors. Now they fire an electron beam, and that usually passes through some sort of an aperture grill or a shadow mask or some sort of filter to sharpen it up a little bit, because just shooting light, that could be blurry when it hits your screen, so they have to sharpen and hone it. And then it hits some phosphors painted on the back of your screen, and that is what illuminates. The illumination is instant. We're talking like light speed. The on and off for that illumination is also instant. So whenever the electron hits the screen, it's lit up. Now, the electron goes across the screen all the time. It's just always drawing.
Okay, I don't actually care about this as much. Did Destiny's room get way lighter, or did he change camera settings? Wait, is it lighter? Wait, did that LUT turn off? Hold on. It's probably just daytime, okay? It's daytime. What do you want me to say? It's the sun, okay? It's a lot of lumens. A lot of lux. Oh, the DGG hero.
And of course, Trump is saying, I would like to bring prices down during the election. But the real anger in the electorate was and will remain with
Oh, no volume control, no volume control. Yes.
the administration that oversaw the huge inflation in the first
Except
place.
that all of the things that Trump is promising now in his economic agenda will make inflation worse.
Cheaper energy?
First
make
of all,
it worse?
oil production is at an all-time high. We are producing more oil per day in this country than any country has
I think energy
in
producers
history.
would tell you the government is put a boot on its on their throat.
Trump's own donors in the fossil fuel
right
industry.
about that we are producing.
This lady is my spirit animal. I feel like it's just I feel like it's just her saying things that are just like obviously true, that are like one search away in like a room full of people who are just like, okay, but also unicorns are real. And then she's like, well, actually unicorns aren't real. It's like, okay, so let's talk about like how unicorns and dragons, can be used in the upcoming World War. And it's like, okay, but like unicorns aren't real, right? And it's like, okay, thank you. Please stop interrupting him. Okay, go ahead. So what is the most effective? Like, it's just.
Producers would tell you the government is put a boot on its on their throat.
Trump's own donors in the fossil fuel industry.
About that we are producing more oil now than even when Trump was in office.
Well, it's more.
That's a fact.
It's about more than just oil production. There's all sorts of.
We're also producing
refining capacity,
we're producing
pipeline
record
capacity.
high levels of natural gas.
Look,
we're producing
I know
record high levels.
I know your favorite pastime is to come out here and talk over me, but just
like, no, you're just lying. It's just because you're lying. You're just lying.
Please.
I care about the facts. I care about the facts.
The reality is, if you talk to anybody in the energy business,
Oh, if you talk to anybody in the energy business, oh, okay. Well, then why don't we kick this guy off the show and bring somebody on who knows what the fuck they're talking about then? Because you don't need to be here, right? Why the fuck would you go on a show and say, well, if you talk to somebody else, oh, well, then get the fuck off. Why don't you make space for somebody who actually knows what the fuck they're talking about then? So this is clearly not you, right? Or can you not quote what the people in the energy business say? Do they speak a different language? Are you illiterate?
if you talk to anybody
he says things.
Look at how afraid he is, too. Look at how afraid he is of it. Look how he has to turn his head. He can't make eye contact because he's ashamed. He has to look over here. He's like, oh, please.
if you talk to anybody in the energy business, if you talk to anybody
he says things that are wrong.
Well,
and I interrupt him and correct him because our job is to inform our
I'll just wait.
Hang on 1 second.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
Finish
No.
your point.
Look, I play this game every time we come out here.
This is also how you know somebody's lost. I look for these and I hear these really well. Is when somebody's eager to give up talking time, it's because they know that they can't counter what you're saying. Anytime like there's multiple people talking and a guy's like fumbling and then somebody else says something, like, oh yeah, he can go. Okay, yeah, I'll let him go. It's always because they don't have a point to make. Yeah.
The legitimate answer is he's going to do stuff on energy. He's going to take regulatory shackles off of the energy producers. If you talk to anybody in the energy business who produces, refines, deals with pipelines, this administration, Democrats in Congress, have put shackles on what they can do.
Like, why did you just waste all that oxygen? How many heartbeats does a human have before they die? Why would you waste this much time of everybody's life to just say nothing? Why not, why would you waste so much time saying nothing?
Stuff on energy. He's going to take regulatory shackles off of the energy producers. If you talk to anybody in the energy business who produces, refines, deals with pipelines, this administration, Democrats in Congress, have put shackles on what they can do.
Why is energy production at a record high?
If you take the shackles off, the prices will go down. It should help.
I guess what I'm wondering is why won't you answer the point that she's making, which is that if it's so bad, why is energy production
I didn't dispute it.
Higher than it was under Trump? And on top of that,
oh no. He's not about to do the thing, is he? Remember how I said before people don't understand things until they suddenly do? Remember how the United States did well on inflation and then people are like, but inflation went up. But an intelligent person might say, well, it could have gone up more. Is he about to do the thing where suddenly his understanding of derivatives and second derivatives becomes fleshed out? Where it's like, yes, the rate of production right now might be high, but sans any shackles placed by the Biden administration, the rate of production could be even higher. So even though it's been increasing, it could have increased even more. Is he about to suddenly magically have this intricate understanding of increases and increases of increases? And
Trump was asked a very simple question. If you promised the American people that you'd bring prices down and then you failed to do that, is that not a problem? Is that something that the American people will judge him on?
If he brings energy prices down, and if he extends the tax cuts, and he generally implements an economic climate in which incomes can rise, and
how do you implement an economic climate in which incomes can rise? What the fuck does the president even have to do with that? Can we get some fucking policies? What? Like, what is the point of what does this guy do for work? What is his background? You know, I don't want to look because it's probably gonna be like fucking Yale educated. Like, how are we not? Like, why can't he say anything of substance? Like, what are we talking about?
And if he extends the tax cuts, and he generally implements an economic climate in which incomes can rise and certain things do come down, and he tells the American people the truth about what he's doing the entire time, I think politically it will be okay.
Again,
Why the obsession with gas prices? I feel like it's the same thing as when I started driving like 14 years ago. Americans are spoiled and stupid. Americans have never cared about the cost of gas, ever. I remember thinking this when I was working poor. I still think it now. Oh, you know what? Never mind. Good job, Americans. Wait, am I fucking crazy? Why is it... Wait, am I just looking at the wrong thing? Why have I read over and over again that the F-150 and the Chevy Silverado are always like the top 2 selling cars? Oh, is this excluding? What is the best-selling vehicle in the US? Oh, okay, my bad. Fuck, give me year by year. But I'm pretty sure it's always been like trucks. And I remember, because like when I was working, because things like gas and whatnot were concerning to me, and the overall cost of vehicle, I always drove compacts. I've always driven compacts my entire life. And then I could just never understand it when gas was getting past like $3 a gallon and Americans were complaining about gas prices. And I always look around, I'm like, why do you guys drive such huge vehicles then? And this is back in the day when these trucks were getting like fucking 15 to 17 miles per gallon city driving or worse. And I'm like, I thought gas was a big deal. Why do you drive these huge gas guzzling pieces of shit then? I don't understand. Yeah, I don't know. I don't believe people. This is why I say also, I guess since I'm just now in the audience shedding or triggering section of our Destiny cycle, this is why I don't believe it when people talk about like the cost of food or the cost of whatever. And then I see things like, okay, well, let's see what Americans are actually doing. And then I see like, oh, DoorDash and Uber Eats are more popular than ever. Okay, I just don't believe these complaints. These are just like there's some anxiety or upsetness about something, but it's not actually this. This is just what you've chosen to complain about. Because this should show an outcome somewhere. This should show up somewhere, right? If it was the case that like Ford and Chevy were like, we're having like huge issues because people just aren't buying our massive fucking vehicles anymore. It's like, oh shit, okay, maybe these are actually things that are starting to impact people. But no, it's not. Nope, I don't believe it. And I don't believe you. I don't believe it. Maybe blue collar workers need them. My brother's an electrician and does a lot of side work. Get the fuck out of here. There are so many people who are like, I need my truck. It's the cleanest cab you've ever seen in your entire fucking life. Now, if you use one for work, obviously that's different, but that's, I would say, in my personal experience, that's the minority. I might be remembering wrong, but I thought I heard that those trucks nowadays get good miles per gallon. Yeah, I feel like the mileage on everything has actually gotten like significantly better. It wouldn't surprise me if like F-150s get 30 plus on the highway now. Let's see if I might be crazy. Oh, the hybrid, this gets 24. Wait, the hybrid gets 24, but the EcoBoost V6 gets 25? This must be a much stronger engine, I'm guessing, on the gas side, right? Oh, am I looking? Should I just not be looking at an AI answer? Okay, Jesus, never mind. This is nowhere near as high as I thought it was. This is probably averaging city and highway, but still. What big cars did I see? Maybe I'm just thinking of sedans or whatever. Bum, 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 bum. You might be thinking about vehicles called Hummers. Nope. That's what your mom gives. Ha ha. Got 'em. Why? What do you... Okay. Real median personal income. Why? What do you want to see? What? Yeah, it's higher. Nobody cares. And you're getting banned. Hold on. Wait. Because you're spamming a link. Three days. Vacation. Belated Sholot. Was that Jew for happy birthday? With your econ arc, any chance of explaining Greece austerity and Milley's Argentinian policy since Musk and Liber tech bros are now influencing government policy? I don't think I would be able to. Oh. You want to buy my 1991 Honda CRX? Yeah. We should have the DGG used car market.
What about me, Nick?
Nickname.
Just nickname.
Nick.
Nick, a woman is never going to want to touch your pee-pee if you not in blood. Come, doctor.
Oh, it's when ex family does it when she's mad.
you watch the editing that Adam did on your job story? Yeah, I think we saw a little bit of it. He called me this morning to chat because he was excited for the episode. Apparently they're trying to do more like, he said he's trying to get into more content where they're like interviewing people, but they're not just like being bullies. And he mentioned interviewing something to do with the son of Tom Hanks or something to do with Forrest Gump or something. I didn't catch the name. It's funny that like, it's funny watching people online who are like, oh, they totally fucking destroyed this guy. They hate this, blah, blah, blah. It's so funny. Jesus, people are unhinged. Oh, Chet Hanks. Yeah, that might be it.
Can you just have sex with me?
Ah! What the fuck was that, man?
Can you just have sex with me?
Ah!
Why?
What the fuck was that, man?
Do you actually believe the economy has been doing great, considering the U6 data is pretty tragic? I don't think the U6 data is tragic at all. I think the economy has been doing really good. I don't know why you think that your pet pick of one data point would somehow say otherwise, but okay.
Let me get one more. I'll watch anything. Let me get one more. Let me get one more.
Wait, what are they? Is he giving them money?
Y'all took all her money. You look good.
Oh shit. I don't understand what. Okay. Do you want to watch the latest Dr. Mike and Dr. Mike Israel's latest chat? Isn't it like a 2-hour video? I understand what you're saying, but you literally just picked one data point that Americans buy trucks more, so they don't care about gas. No, sorry. There are two huge costs, I think, when you're poor that you can control to some extent that are usually your two biggest items that you pay money for. It's usually your vehicle and it's your where you live, so your rent or your mortgage. So when I see people buy expensive or huge cars, you're guzzling gas and you're paying more money for it, and you're probably paying more for insurance. It just makes me wonder what the fuck is going on. Can you show honey, please? This is my honey picture for today. People don't care about leveraging themselves until they're up or until they're in debt up to their eyeballs because they can't intuit the inevitable ebbs and flows of macro econ. I don't think it's just that. I think that someone in chat said it too. That also, Honey is a guy. If you misgender, you're banned. Okay. Americans have a real big cost with cutting lifestyle. Like it's very, very, very hard for an American to conceptualize that maybe the consumption needs to go down a little bit. That's a very, very, very challenging thing for an American to understand. I'm sure you probably already said that, but Taps, were you pleased? I'm going to be honest, I haven't watched the whole thing yet, just a few clips that people have posted or whatever. I felt like the whole combo was pretty good and pretty funny, but I feel like we talked for like an hour and a half. So now I'm wondering how much got cut to make it a 45-minute show, but. He's just a master gamer. Is this going to be a clip of him playing Diablo 4 or some bullshit? Oh. How the fuck does he have time to play video games? What the fuck does he do with his day? Like all the time in his day? How can he do so many things? Is this a virtue signal? Does he not actually game or? Handshakes with Donalds are usually quite a challenge. The Prime Minister of Poland and President of France are mocking Donald Trump. Are they? Is this? It might be. I don't know. It's not him. He probably doesn't even run his Twitter account. I don't think he runs his Twitter account. I would believe that. Employment to population ratio. Oh yeah, our employment is really, really, really high. We would like, God, fuck. It's crazy how we politically strangle our own economy. There should be a path to lawful permanent resident status, green card status for every fucking illegal here that's working, and we should unlock the ability for people to get here way easier. We could put so many of these people to work. Our economy is like starving for workers, but because of political reasons, we won't do it. It's so stupid. And then meanwhile, we just like watch as like China and India like continue to close the gap. It's so stupid. Elon Musk is going to be indicted on securities fraud. It just had to do with the disclosure of like a securities purchase or sale. Does this matter that much? Who cares? Wouldn't that just encourage a massive new wave of migrants to come here? If they want to come here and work, who the fuck cares? That's a good thing. That should be a good thing. Look at the unemployment rate going up instead and understand the rate of change. What are you talking about? This is employment, not unemployment. Our employment to population ratio, to the employed people to total population ratio of 25 to 54-year-olds is a really high, about as high as it's ever been. Like, we're pretty much at full employment. What are you talking about? Labor force participation. I think our labor force participation rate is a bit down, but we also have an aging population. Like, this is gonna, labor force participation will probably drop until all the boomers retire and start dying, and then it'll start going up again. Our highest was about here at 67%, and now we're at around 63%. But I mean, think of when average age of, or wait, average boomer, average baby boomer age. The average age of a baby boomer is between 70 and 78 years old. So in 2000, it would have been, they would have been in their 50s. So 60. So yeah, this is like when you're seeing all the baby boomers like start to fall out. Destiny, the real wages metric you use is poor since it's adjusted for inflation based off of CPI, which is a bad metric. I'm sorry, which metric do you prefer to use? What is labor force participation rate? Labor force participation rate, I believe, is all of your workers from 18 to 65, I think, who are currently employed. I think it also includes discouraged workers, I think. Labor force participation rate is the percentage of working age population that is in the labor force. Yeah, I think. 15 and 64. Is the underemployment thing everyone complains about real or just vibes? That's just a meme that people like to say because, and then usually they'll also utter something like gig economy afterwards. Open a new tab in your browser. At the top of the page, click Labs, Manage, Turn off AI Overviews, and more. Wait, where? Settings? Click Labs, Manage, Turn off AI Overviews. Labs is the FLAC icon. This thing? Oh wait, this thing. Because it's like a potion. Oh, this is already turned off, I think. Or I don't have labs on at all. Experimental AI? Is this not it, or? Yeah, I don't think you can turn it off on the Google searches. I feel like if you could, it'd be more popular. LFPR doesn't count people over 65, so I don't know, what do you mean with aging population? Is it like people stop working in their 50s? Probably. I imagine you probably get a percentage of people. Like, if I had to guess, retirement probably looks something like this. Like if this is like 20, 40, 60, right? It probably looks something like some very small percentage of people retire here or whatever. And then it probably ends up looking like something like this or whatever. Like there's probably like some percentage of people that retire like in their late 50s and early 60s or whatever. Why shouldn't we redirect the Medicare budget for actual working age civilians instead of non-working 65-plus-year-olds? The demographic that uses less healthcare and contributes more to tax revenue would make more sense to fully insure. No. How does America benefit from providing healthcare to old farts that don't work and cost the most to keep alive? Because part of your agreement with America is that if you work, you're not going to be abandoned in your old age and left for death. What is Saudi link Emaru stream? Okay, good one. The Republican Party will use its best efforts to eliminate daylight savings time, which is a small but strong constituency, but shouldn't. We passed legislation in the House a few years ago to get rid of daylight savings time, but it didn't make it to the Senate, I think. We should get rid of this, though. There's no reason to have this. Kennedy's lawyer has asked the FDA to revoke approval of the polio vaccine. Okay. The lawyer helping RFK Jr. pick federal health officials for the incoming Trump administration has petitioned the government to revoke its approval of the polio vaccine. Campaign is just one front. It's called a petition seeking to pause the distribution of 13 other vaccines, challenged and in some cases quashed COVID vaccine mandates around the country, sued federal agencies for the disclosure of records related to vaccine approvals, and subjected prominent vaccine scientists to grueling videotaped depositions. Much of his work, including the polio petition filed in 2022, has been on behalf of the Informed Consent Action Network, a nonprofit whose founder is a close ally of Mr. Kennedy. Okay. Could there be a wealth cutoff limit where some extremely wealthy people do not get access to funds at retirement? Does Medicare income test at all? I think you just probably get it. It's like Social Security. Like, you pay into it, so you should get it. I don't know how much it would help to cut extremely wealthy people off from access to Medicare. I'm not sure if that would even help that much.
I was hooking up with this chick. One day, she was on the phone with her family in Jamaica, and she was really in the middle of a heated conversation. Tell that pussy clot girl, me know what? I really had no idea what the fuck she was saying. And her friend said, "Give me a picnic in the car with me so I can't chat." I'm like, wow. So wait, break that down. So then she started breaking down a lot of shit. I'm like, how do you say this? John no star. How do you say that? Oh, like 7. Oh. She was just telling me how to say different shit. So for like a week, like I was really on a Jamaican tip. And that just happened to be the week of the Golden Globes.
Me father told me presenting in a what soon forward come. Big up, tune in.
I had Jamaicans blowing up my Instagram. Respect, General. We're gonna come to the island. You know what I mean? The Jamaican people showed me the most love, hands down. But then you got all these social justice warriors in America saying that I'm a fucking villain.
How do you feel about the idea of cultural appropriation overall?
Okay.
All rappers, they're
getting into the gaming space. I think that's the announcement.
Well, that's the thing. Adam interviewed Destiny.
So I debated and eviscerated Destiny, and we're going to get that out.
Adam had Destiny on the show, and
Nick
on
was,
this show, he told
Nick
us
was rooting
afterwards,
against me.
No, I wasn't. I was watching. I had a good time.
Nick,
don't even
to
try
the
to make
extent
this
that now he's pro-Israel.
Don't even try to make this
Nick said that Israel has some good points.
Yeah, he's trying to. He can't even.
No,
he
Nick
can't
was
do a
very
joke
supportive, and he's my rock.
You were here for it?
I was here, and Destiny tells us afterwards. You know how much money he makes?
I'm sure it's a lot.
$15 million a week.
A week?
On Twitter
Yeah,
or
okay.
Twitch.
One of
streaming.
those.
So
No,
I
Kick.
said...
Kick.
Yeah, on Twitch. Kickflip is the name of the website.
If you want, that's a lot, because he had a thing recently where he said, "Oh, I dropped my hot chocolate that I ordered from Uber Eats," and I said, "Who the hell orders hot chocolate on Uber Eats?" But I guess if
the
you,
king of France. That's
He's
it.
addicted to hot chocolate. This is going to come out all in my hot interview with Destiny.
I would say he's addicted. He likes it, and it's winter time.
He's addicted. He's been at the end of his rope a couple times, sucking. Oh,
Yeah.
I shouldn't have said that. Anyway, Destiny.
But you said it. You're
it was a great conversation.
Sober.
It was a
You're
great
fully
conversation.
sober. You knew we were recording.
I asked him. I said, "Do you want me to get you a kombucha?" And he said, "I only drink hot chocolate."
Oh, I shouldn't have said that.
I only drink hot chocolate and Red Bull.
By the way, after the fact.
I don't care.
During the interview, none of this.
Honestly, he kind of
It's
alphaed.
just him just being like, ooh.
He's a friend of the show, and he kind of alphaed the response to whatever that was last week.
As soon as he's gone,
I was at dinner.
Like,
I was at dinner with my
sucking
family.
Video, by the way.
I was at dinner with my family, and and someone said
I
it to
shouldn't
me.
have
And
said that.
I was watching a sexual act.
Your problem is you're too fucking negative. See, I'm aspirational. I didn't hear anything about that.
This is the opposite of
I heard
true.
$15 million, which he may or may not even have said.
Uh-huh.
But I heard.
I think
this
he
guy walks
wouldn't
in
say.
here,
I think
and
he was
I'm
being
like,
coy about
this
how much
man
money.
is made of money. Whatever he's doing, he's.
Nick respected him as a businessman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Who is this guy? I just saw I get a lot of likes on Twitter. Watching Destiny on Adam Friedland, and I have two takeaways. One, Adam Friedland is so... Was this supposed to be tame, or is game? He's game with his guests, but he's clearly disgusted by Destiny. And two, Destiny's one of the stupidest people I've ever seen. Destiny, people are defaulting on their credit card payments at the fastest rate since the 2008 financial crisis. I don't even know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Is it considered good or bad when people are like spending a lot of credit? I imagine defaulting is probably bad. Credit card default rates, Fred. Delinquency rate on credit card loans, all commercial banks. Oh. Were you just lying? Wait, hold on. Lethal Lance in YouTube chat. Was it just a lie? Or are you referring to something else? Or... He is kind of correct. People are defaulting their credit card payments at the fastest rate since the 2008 financial crisis. I guess that's one of those things that's like technically true, but is not. But they were their lowest ever prior to that. Okay, never mind. So it's like a technically true thing, but you're lying basically through a selection of facts. It's cute. Okay, nice. No, 2009 is higher than today, so it's not even true. Yeah, but I'm guessing he's like rolling this into that recession or something. Why did it drop so much since COVID? Like in this time period? Why would delinquency rates have fallen? My guess is going to be maybe a lot of new credit wasn't issued for people to default on, and I think people were getting a fuck ton of money in terms of like unemployment insurance and stuff like that. I think Americans saved a ton of money over the COVID closures. People had a, I think, is there a way to check that? Would it be personal savings rate? Oh yeah, this is probably why. Because the financial outlays of households, I think, significantly decreased. Because stuff was closed, so you can go out and spend money. You weren't spending money on gas to drive to work. You weren't buying coffees or going to restaurants because they were all closed. So. Look at mortgage and student debt defaults. Mortgage default rate. This is going to be a crazy period for economists to like mine in terms of how much an economy is even real. We really did like weather the COVID shit insanely well, considering that like the economy was basically shut down for months. I don't even remember how long all the lockdowns and everything were. It's pretty crazy. You would have expected this period to be like insanely catastrophic. Although I guess we pay for it maybe in like cumulative inflation or whatever, but there's like a story to be told here. There's something to be said for like there's something to be said for look at the impact that fake shit had on the world economy, right? Like imagine trying to explain to a kid or an alien, like, okay, damn, tell me what happened here. Was it nuclear war? Was there like massive bombings? Were your factories all shut down? It's like, well, no. People were loaning money, and then a lot of people were making bets and investing against like loans on things. And that kind of like ruined the world economy for a couple of years. And it's like, okay, well, explain what happened here with this little bump. This must have been what, like a much smaller bet? Well, no, for here, actually half the world economy just shut down for 6 months. But this wasn't as big a deal as like the people who on their online bank accounts had the numbers against the other numbers. like this one was much worse than this one. That's just kind of funny to think about, you know? Like, okay, interesting. Thoughts on the thread on supposed COVID PPP loan fraud. The COVID era Paycheck Protection Program. We paid for it with 25% of the world's COVID deaths. I don't believe that number. I think it's funny to use when you argue against the Trumples, but I think that the amount of COVID death in a lot of countries was just massively underreported because they just don't have the healthcare infrastructure to report on it, would be my guess. The COVID era Paycheck Program was defrauded at an incredible rate or scale. People receive loans for total nonsense at stunning rates. Threat of funny claims. Oh, what was like the fraud percentage though that was estimated, right? There's always going to be some percentage. Like what was the percentage estimated of all the total fraud for this? Dodge Hellcat LLC. I've been trying to read on the national debt and its effect on the economy. Any takeaways? Ask us once we finish our macro econ course. I can only speak in generalities. Although, to be fair, economists can only speak in generalities too. 'em. 'em. 'em.
graphic.
Why was the 08 crisis so drawn out and its bad effects? What was it about that made the economy go bunk for so many years? One was that there was a huge intermingling of a lot of different financial markets, I think, that caused bad things to happen. So when that market went down, a lot of other financial markets were impacted. And then two, I think it's because housing is like connected in a real sense to a lot of other markets as well. So like if somebody gets kicked out of their house, they also can't work. They also draw more on welfare. They also like the economic output of somebody like that falls pretty significantly. And the people that build houses and like all the construction material and all of that also falls. So I think there was like there was a financial part to it. The intermingling of so many different international financial markets to housing stuff was bad. And and probably the real effect of people like losing their homes and stuff was bad too. I think that'd be my guess. Also, yeah, I don't know how much more, I don't know if we did as much stimulus for the 2007, 2008 stuff as well. The social and mental impacts of COVID far outweigh the economic impacts, in my opinion. Okay.